I'm out of breath because I just did a spur of the moment impromptu workout. But I have a little anecdote for you, alright? So, a couple years ago, I started seeing videos, more than a couple years ago, like, I don't know, 2020, 2021, I started seeing videos of guys doing muscle ups, right? For those that don't know, a muscle up is basically, think of a pull-up, but then you go even further. You go all the way up, and your arms pretty much lock and extend like this on top of the bar. And I would see videos of guys doing muscle ups. I was like, shit, I want to try that. I want to do a muscle up. So I think after watching a few videos, I decided to give it a try. And this is about 3 years ago, and I tried and I failed. Tried a few more times and still failed. So I was like, no, screw it. No muscle ups then. You know what I'm saying? No muscle ups. That's such a weak way to think, but that's my mindset. That was my mindset back then. I said no muscle ups or whatever. So years go by, I would still do pull-ups. Pull-ups is part of my routine when I exercise. And I would just not do muscle ups. And so I'm on this trail today. Beautiful weather outside. All praises to the Most High. It just rained. Smells so fresh and pure. I'm on this trail, and I come across this outdoor gym that has like the standard pull-up bar. It has 2 pull-up bars. It has a dip station, and it has a push-up station, and then the ab crunch station. Simple stuff, but all you need, right? I'm passing it, and then that voice in my head is like, yo, try to do a muscle up. And I literally told myself no, and kept walking. And that's what I mean when I say that a lot of times your mind is your enemy, and it always has to be spirit over flesh, and you have to tap into the spirit because the spirit rules all, even your mind. So when your mind is telling you not to do something or not to try something, you have to get to a point where your spirit is speaking and is making the decisions, is pulling the strings. And you say to your mind, nah, we're gonna do this. So that's what happened. I turned back around and tried to muscle up, and I failed. But then after like 4 or 5 tries, I told myself that I wasn't leaving this trail until I did a muscle up. I literally made that decision in my heart. So my spirit made a decision, and my mind and my flesh have no option but to obey it. I said, I'm not leaving this trail until I do a muscle up. And a few more tries after I made that decision, I did a muscle up. And here's the thing about that. After I did a muscle up, I did another one. And then I did another one. Were they consecutive? No. I needed more breaks. But I did 2 more muscle ups and then a bunch of other workouts that I was doing. But the moral of the story is that once you overcome the limiting belief in your mindset and you actually try something and you achieve it, and even if it's just a small goal, because I just did 3 muscle ups, I didn't do like 10 in a row, just 3. It's just the fact that you tried something and you overcame the belief that you couldn't do it. And when you do that, once you do it the first time, you can do it again. And then you can do it again. And then you can do it again. And so on and so forth. So basically, you just opened up Pandora's box to success. That's really all it is. And it's not just about, and this story is not about me doing a muscle up. It's me doing things to train my brain and remind myself that I am in control and I'm capable of anything. Even the things that I told myself for years that I couldn't do. It's not just a muscle up. It's not just a pull up. It's life in general. And I know as I'm just navigating through life and going through things on my own trials and just life stuff, that becoming formidable in your mind is literally one thing that is going to either make it or break it for a lot of people in times to come. And I'm not just talking about like wealth and success. I'm talking about your spirituality in these end times. Having your spirit overcome your mind and your flesh, spirit over flesh, being able to do that in all circumstances, especially when it really, really matters, that's really going to make it or break it for people. There are people who, because they didn't master their mind, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but there's going to be people who will die in times to come because they weren't able to master their flesh and their mind. And since their flesh and their mind are enmity or an enemy against their spirit, it caused them into traps and snares that ultimately led to their deletion on this earth in this particular reality. And that's really sad. So my advice to you is to do things that go against your mind and your flesh, but are in support with your spirit. Because the more you do those things, the stronger you become in the spirit, and the stronger your mind becomes, because your mind starts to realize that it's not the leader. It doesn't have say. It's not running the show. And when your mind understands that, then your flesh definitely understands that, and then the spirit just does what it do. So if you can do it once, you can do it again. Have a wonderful day. Peace.